Why hello there everyone, and welcome to another video here on behalf of Dota Alchemy. You've been asking for it a bunch, and so we are going to go over the tier list for the position 5 supports as they currently stand in the meta. And before we get into it, I just want to show you guys, this is Dota Alchemy merchandise. We finally have some. There's a link to our store in the description below. We've got 3 shirts available right now, and we'll come out with some more designs pretty soon as well. Maybe go in for some hoodies. I know it's getting kind of cold in a lot of areas in the world as we head into winter, so we'll have maybe some warm weather gear coming out as our next drop as well. But currently we've got 3 dope shirts. I hope you guys enjoy them, and it's a good way to support the channel if you're interested in that. So anyway, let's go ahead and hop into the tier list, and we'll start off with everybody's favorite support, Crystal Maiden. Crystal Maiden is really kind of a jack of all trades right now. She is very good for the current tempo of the meta because of one main thing, and that is Arcane Aura. Giving your teammates a free mana fountain is just very, very strong right now because everybody's fighting constantly. You want to always be applying pressure to the map, and being able to never have to go back to base because you always have full mana thanks to Crystal Maiden is extremely useful as a result. CM also has very good harass with her Crystal Nova, and then she can even set up kills early on in the game with some Frostbite as well. And if you don't really feel like you can have the impact that you'd like in the lane, you can even grab some jungle camps and deny pulls by Frostbiting big creeps to the enemy offlane pull as well. And then when it comes to sort of the mid and late game, what I'm seeing a lot of Crystal Maidens do is they build very tanky. They get a couple bracers, maybe even an armor item, some survivability stuff, and then you kind of are just like a damage soaking hero. This hero can get quite tanky with your 250 health talent at level 10. Then you get a nice fat 150 GPM talent at level 15, so you're going to end up having some pretty solid itemization in the late game like BKB, and really whatever else your team might need, whether that's going to be a blink for initiation, force staff for save, glimmer cape, even something as important as a hex or some other aura like a crimson guard can even go a long way to winning those late game team fights. The next hero in the S tier is Keeper of the Light, and we've talked a bit about this hero on the channel so far. Caudle is in a very good spot right now just because they gave him a bunch of free stuff. That's usually one of the best ways to indicate whether a hero is going to be extremely strong, is if he just continually gets free stuff in the buffs and changes in the little patches. And then of course Blinding Light is really, really, really nice for trading in the laning stage. It makes him extremely difficult to fight against early on. He can clear creep waves with his Q or Illuminate very, very easily, makes it super hard to push into it. So he's already a good team fighter, sustains the team, can push out waves, can de-push towers, and this is all from a position 5 with 0 farm. And then of course has one of the most insane late game team fight spells in the entire game, to be honest. Will-O-Wisp is really, really hard to deal with unless you have like Juggernaut or Lifestealer, or eventually get BKBs, just because you really can't kill the Wisp. The flickering is too much control. It's very difficult to deal with. So this hero kind of just does it all. He is being picked a lot with good reason. He's winning a lot, and I would expect to see him nerfed in the near future. So get your MMR while you can. Undying is the final hero in the S tier. This hero is one of those heroes that's been buffed and buffed and buffed and buffed and buffed, and I've been sure is on his way to being strong, and it seems like he is finally getting towards that tier where he's just very good at fighting in the laning stage. He's very good at securing most safe lanes. He also finally has a pretty good scaling ability thanks to very good talents and the fact that Flesh Golem has just been buffed and buffed and buffed and buffed and buffed. This spell is really nuts. It's like Heartstopper Aura on steroids. Does a lot of damage, and you kind of just need to play the hero as a damage tank, and you just want to bait people to go, and you sort of like in a Abaddon where you soak a bunch of damage, Soul Rip yourself. Soul Rip is very, very efficient in the amount of damage and the heal that it does, and then of course place your tombstone in a opportune spot on a cliff, or to break down trees to find a Monkey King or Tinker or whatever else you might need. So this hero does a lot. He is a little bit different than either Coddle or Crystal Maiden, but I wanted to include him in S tier because he does feel like one of those heroes that you can pick in basically every game. I would recommend banning Phantom Lancer or Lina if you are going to play this hero, and for that reason maybe he belongs in A tier, but I'm going to leave him in S because I like the way that my pyramid looks here. Let's go over the A tier heroes a little bit faster, and then we'll kind of just gloss over the rest. But Abaddon, this hero is extremely good. He's top tier in the offlane. He's also extremely good, perhaps even S tier in the safe lane. Despite the nerfs to Mistcoil, he is still extremely good at sustaining the lane, harassing the lane, pushing towers, and you can't underrate how good his Aphotic Shield saves are when Mirana and Bane and those kinds of heroes are extremely popular in the meta. Vengeful Spirit is a hero that's definitely on the rise. This is another hero that's been pretty overlooked for a long time, but the more I play it, the more I think that it's an incredibly strong hero right now. Following to the same sort of theme as many of these other heroes, it's very good at soaking damage. Venge has incredibly good stats, and she likes to be in the middle of the fight, right? She throws her body to save an ally. And so not only do you have catch, you have save. This is a meta, again, where Bane and Mirana are very popular, where Void is probably the most picked carry, where Slark is extremely popular. All of these heroes get completely owned by Venge Swap. Then you have your Wave of Terror to help you take Roche, to help push out waves, to find people in the trees. She's super good at ganking as well. And she's just so tanky that you can kind of run in and you're buffing your allies the whole time with a huge amount of damage as well. And on top of that, if you simply just pick up something like a Vlad's or a Crimson Guard, or even just little smaller aura items like Buckler and Drums and that kind of stuff, you can be super high impact, because even when you die, your illusion stays there and you continue to give your allies those auras. So I think that in itself is a hyper value piece of Venge's kit. And this hero just really functions well in the fight constantly style meta because all of her cooldowns are super low, which allows you to just brawl it out with everybody. Jakiro is another hero that I think is on the rise, and we've seen a bit of it picked up in high level pubs, even some in the pro scene. It's another hero that has pretty short cooldowns. It's very good at brawling early on. It provides you some tower push from the 5 position, very good D push from the 5 position as well. Has super strong talents, although not quite as good as Crystal Maiden. The 150 GPM talent is much later, but you do have an EXP talent at 15, which lets you hit those higher talents quickly. The one thing holding him back is the fact that the cast point on the abilities is so long, so if you are against something like Clock, or even if you just need an instantaneous stun, you really have to be kind of reading the game quickly to be able to land those. That being said, Ice Path is super good. We're seeing a lot of people going like 2, 4, 1, even skipping the ultimate in favor of maxing Ice Path just because it's so good. Such a long range, low cooldown stun, only 90 mana for some pretty hefty and multi-target lockdown in team fights as well. Grimstroke, this hero is definitely on the decline, I guess. It's been on the decline probably since it was released and just continually nerfed, but I think it's still very good because it pairs super well with many of the popular heroes. It's great with Faceless Void, Juggernaut, Chaos Knight. Being able to put Inkswell on any of those is super deadly. Phantom's Embrace is also good against Void. It's good against Slark. The silence can't be underrated. The mobility canceling that you can use Soulbind on those same heroes as well is also very good. And then of course you have strong D push and high damage from Stroke of Fate, as well as a GPM talent, cast range talent, more cast range, and then the Inkswell Radius. The talent tree is still super good for Grimstroke, so there's really nothing to dislike other than the fact that his stats have gotten so much worse, but just the sheer combos that you can achieve with this hero, I think I have to still put it in the A tier. And I've personally been having success with Grimstroke as well. And the final A tier hero is Chen. I don't play Chen, but everybody who is in the pro scene plays Chen and swears that this hero is completely busted. The Just the fact that you can get the perfect laning setup by your free teleport is inherently going to make you a very valuable pick. That's not something that a lot of pub players will utilize, even though they should. But even still, the healing amplification from Divine Favor, just getting a really early mech and just running people over with Chen, can be an effective way to gain a bunch of MMR. So those are the A tier heroes. You can see the B and C tier, and there's some situational picks as well. Not all of the heroes are on here. I don't play all of the support heroes. I don't play Earth Spirit, for example. There's some memes in here as well, such as Chaos Knight and Zeus 5, which I sometimes pick just because I want to have fun too occasionally. But I also win with those on a pretty regular basis. So these are all the heroes that I would generally be picking. And I'm pretty much just sticking to the S and A tier unless I see a really good situational pick. Let me know what you think about the tier list. Let me know what you think about our shirts, and let me know how your games are going. We'll see you in another video really soon.